ready to the countdown.
Hi everyone. Hi teachers out there. I hope you are doing well. Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Puan Sumati Munyandi from my PGK Tunusin On, yeah? All right. My email address is here. Okay, Sumati @gmail.com. All right, this is my email address. All right, today I want to share some of the differentiated strategies or instructions. Yeah, is the same term, strategies or instructions in the CFR curriculum. When you talk about CFR, it's more on the can-do statements, the which the students can do in the curriculum. When you conduct your lesson, all right, we identify what are the things that what are the things that you ask them to do right in your lesson. So we judge them, we evaluate them, we assess them based on their can do statement. All right. In the next slides, I'm going to share with you some of the strategies that you can use in the classroom. Yeah. All right. In between, if you have any questions, you can post in the chat. All right. Okay. The objectives of this CPD is one of the objective is become familiar with vocabulary related to differentiated instructions or strategies, right? Understand basic principles of differentiating content, process, and product. These are the key areas. Yeah, when you differentiate, you have to look at the content, the process, and the product. All right, in the diverse classroom. Right, I will explain in a while. Yeah, be able to implement one or more strategies in your classroom. Right, these are the objectives for this CPD. Yeah. Right. Okay, as you all know, students come to our classroom, yeah, with different learning styles, prior education and their experiences and their interests, motivators, readiness level and persona. They have different types of students in the classroom, right? Sometimes the teachers are juggling with different types of the students. All right, we are in the classroom, we are juggling to handle them. All right, so how to handle them and how to make them to learn our teaching points in the classroom. There are various ways. Before that, we teachers have to understand the students, who are our clients, who are the students, what background they are from, what are their interests, what is the learning style. Okay, different students have different learning styles. Our problems is we tend to give the same worksheet, for example, yeah, to all the students in the classroom. So when talk about the teaching of English, right, students get bored because some they are not keen in our method, so we have to diversify our method by using the differentiated strategies in the classroom. All right, look at the all this. You must know your students, their background especially. All right, and also their learning styles. Okay, look at the learning styles based on Garner's theory of multiple intelligences. All right, in his book he wrote this theory in his book Frames of Mind in 1983, and you can look at read more about this multiple intelligences theory in this video. All right. Okay, when Gardner first introduced his theory of multiple intelligences, it shook the academic world, right? After all, it challenged prevailing beliefs about intelligence and how we learn best, right? Perhaps you have heard about Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, but you are not sure about the finer details, or maybe this is the very first time you are reading about it. Either way, this is an important theory that you have to know, yeah, as a teacher in the classroom, which who handle the different types of learners. Some of the learners, they not some, basically all the learners, we have to give attention actually in the classroom, so that no one is left behind. Yeah, this multiple intelligent model might just be the key to unlocking the hidden powers of your learners. So this is, I feel that this is very important. As a teacher, you should understand the students have multiple intelligences in the classroom. All right. So how are we going to get cater for their needs as a teacher, right? Okay. To give you a better idea, here are a couple of things to ponder. Why do some learners perform better in written tests, while others prefer practical assessments, hands-on assessments? Why? Because they are different multiple intelligences. Okay, some they like to visualize, some they like to do hands-on activity, kinesthetic, some they like musical. So how are we going to cater all these needs, right? Why does a standardized training approach often fail to engage all kinds of learners, right? You have to think about it. Why do we judge the students based on the marks? All right. The answer is simple. Each individual possesses different intelligences when they use in learning. This theory can help you acknowledge these differences. So we must firstly understand our students, what background, is their learning style in the classroom, so that it will be easier for you to plan the lesson and also prepare the activities in the classroom based on their intelligences. Later, I'm going to show you some of the strategies or instructions or methods that you can use in your classroom. Okay, this is Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. Yeah. Okay, we have seven, right? Okay, verbal, linguistic, logical, mathematic, visual, body kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalist, musical, all these. Our students, we have all these students, all types of students in the classroom. But we are using the same worksheet, same task for all the students. Are we doing, are we being fair to the students? So we have to ask. All right. So these are the things that you have to focus. Yeah. Unfortunately, some classroom structures do not address this student diversity. In fact, the biggest mistake of past centuries in teaching has been a treat all children as if they were variants of the same individual and thus to feel justified in teaching them all the same subject in the same way. This is what Gardner's theory is all about. All right. So we have, when we look back, we reflect our teaching in the classroom. We tend to use the same way, the whole class method, where all the students will be doing the same activity, same task, same thing, and all over again and again. Whereas, if you really look into the classroom, the learners' preferences, you can see that they are different, right, in one way or another, right? Okay, let's take a look at the instructional strategies we typically use in our classrooms and see how they affect our students' memory retention rates. All right, just guess, yeah? What do we use in the classroom normally? Okay. Okay, practice by doing, demonstrating. Oh, the slide is not clear here. All right. Audio, reading, lecture. Okay. What is the least effective and what is the most effective strategies that we use in the classroom? Okay. Can you guess? Rank the strategies. Which one is the least and which one is the most effective? Lecture is the most effective, or practice by doing, or demonstration? Which one is the most important instructional strategies here in your classroom? Teacher centered or student centered? All right. So these are the key things that you need to uh, reflect on. Yeah. Some of the teachers, we more focus on the teacher centered. But if you look at the CEFR, it's more on the learner centered. We give the empowerment to the learners to learn. By how? By using these instructional strategies or um, instruction strategies. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, lecture. This is the least, right? Reading, audiovisual, demonstration, discussion, practice by doing, and the most effective is teach others. All right. That means role play, group work, all that. That is the most effective strategies rather than the lecture teacher centered. All right. The core thing here is we must give the empowerments to the students to learn, to be their own hero in their own learning. All right. They have the power to decide what they want to learn. Okay. These instructional strategies are also related uh, to our formative assessments. All right. How do we conduct the formative assessments? Based on the instructional strategies. Right? When you assess the students, you must emphasize the instructional strategies. All right. Okay, so now you have a classroom of diverse learners. You have, yeah? All of us have, right? And you know that some of our past teaching strategies are not going to be effective with them, right? Only teacher talk. Does it really relevant to nowadays situation? Teacher centered, teacher talk, chalk and talk method. All right. So we have to think about all this. Yeah. How do you successfully meet the needs of the diverse learners? That is the key thing. These we have to go back to the basic. Yeah. We have different types of learners. We cannot deny the fact. All right. We may use a lot of ICTs, a lot of this, that, sophisticated method, gamification, and all that. But when we ignore the basic thing of teaching, all right, where we ignore the types of learners in the classroom, their needs, then whatever we are going to use, such as the ICT, gamification, games, and all that, is not going to work. So what I'm trying to say is you must go back to the basic where you address the students first. What are their needs? How are you going to tackle them? Then you proceed with your ICT, your other methods. All right. So address the basic first. Okay. Okay. So differentiated strategies. All right. So I'm going to share with you some of the strategies that you can apply in your classroom. There are many, yeah, there are many, but this is part of them. So you can apply all this method. It's also related to formative assessment actually. All right. So you can try. Okay, what is differentiated instructions or strategies? It's the same, a set of unique decisions that the educator makes to bring learning within the grasp of all students. Remember, these students who are working on grade level, below grade level, and for, hold on, and the above level of above grade, yeah. All right, hence a lesson that adjusts, all right, either the content being discussed, right? These are the key things, yeah. Content being discussed, the process used to learn. This is the process, content. So these are the areas that we have to use the instructional strategies to help the learners, and also the product expected from the students, right? These are the key things, yeah, to ensure the learners at different starting points can receive the instruction they need to grow and succeed. A good differentiated teaching program means high quality, evidence based instruction that meets student needs. All right, meets student needs meaning that we have different types of learners with multiple intelligences. So you have to relate to that within their zone of proximal learning development, and has clear smart objective, the specific, measurable. Okay, your objective must be specific, measurable, achievable. All right, don't set your objective which is too high, where your learners are too weak, low achievers in your classroom, but you set the targets too high. Okay, it's not going to work. And also time based, within this within, okay, 20 minutes of your activities, can they achieve your target or not? So you have to be, or time bound or time based, yeah. So you have to be realistic, all right, with your learner, according to your learners needs. All right. Okay, differentiation is providing avenues to acquire content, process ideas. All right. The slides is not, okay, never mind. A means to provide multiple options of taking in and making sense of information. All right, these are the things, yeah. Okay, principle of differentiated classroom. These are the principles that you have to know. All students participate in respectful work. Teacher and students work together, all right, to ensure continual engagement and challenge for each learner. The teacher coordinates use of time, space, and activities. All right, within the stipulated time, space, can you achieve your target? All right, by providing them with your instructional strategies. All right, flexible grouping, which includes whole class. Okay, normally we have to, when we talk about CEFR, we must give the students empowerment, so we must give them a lot of group work, maybe pair work, right? Student-centered work, right? All this. Principle of differentiated classroom. Time used in is flexible in response to students' needs, right? A variety of management strategies such as learning centers, interest centers, learning buddies, all right, to help target instructions to students' needs, all right? And then you must have the established individual and group criteria. And what are the success criteria that you want them to achieve? All right, you can stress on that. All right, students are observed in a variety of ways to demonstrate their own thoughts and growth. Okay, give them power. All right, how? All right, give them empowerment to be their own they have the power to learn on their own. All right, you have to assist them. Right. Okay, traditional versus differentiated classroom. Traditional differences are acted upon when problematic, right? Traditional. Differentiated differences are studied as a basic for learning, for planning, sorry. Assessment is more common at the end of the learning to see who got it, right? But here, differentiated classroom assessment is ongoing, like formative assessment is ongoing. You have to evaluate the students there and then. All right, it's ongoing and in diagnostic to make instruction more responsive to learners' needs. Okay, when you talk about the assessment is ongoing, that means when you identify the problem, then you guide the students. That's where the instructional strategies comes in. All right. When you notice the learners are slow, you give the learner more time. Maybe you give the learner more support. Maybe you arrange the learner to the the other students who are better than them, all right, to assist the learners. This how. But if you look at the traditional, we don't do that. We just based on the grades, right? Based on the grades, and then we evaluate based on the grades. We don't really intervene. Don't really give them the intervention strategies to help them. But here, differentiator, you there and then you identify the problem, give them the feedback, a positive feedback, all right, to help the learner, all right. And then from the learning process, you plan ahead of your lesson, all right. Relatively narrow sense of intelligence prevails. This one, focus multiple form of intelligence is evidence. When the teacher comes in during the activities, when you give them the support, we give them the uh, uh, time and all that, that means you are addressing their needs, all right. Coverage of curriculum guides drives instruction. Yeah, this is more on curriculum center, but here student readiness interests shape the instructions. Okay, we have to cater when you talk about the students readiness interests, we have to cater our lesson according to their needs. We cannot lose that, right? What are the strategies you're going to implement in the classroom based on your students ability? All right, if you think that your students, your pupils, your learners need more guidance from you, then you have to change the instructional strategies according to their needs. All right, the traditional classroom, whole class instruction dominates. Yes, okay, the teacher gives, it's more on teacher centered, the whole class instruction. Okay, teacher explain in general, all right, but here differentiated many instructional, okay, many instructional and uh, s- many instructional arrangements are used. All right, that means you give them time, you give them the support, all right, you expect the outcome. Okay, you cannot expect all the students achieve the outcome, the same outcome. Sometimes the low achievers may only make two sentences, but the high achievers make five sentences according to the topic that you teach. So the expectations you have to modify. But in the old traditional classroom, the teacher will say, okay, everybody make five sentences today. Okay. But now, no, we have to cater for each student's needs. If the students are slow, low achievers, you bring down your outcome. What do you want to achieve? Okay. A single text prevails, but multiple, here in differentiated classroom, multiple materials are provided. This is crucial, yeah. Multiple materials. That's why when beginning of the my my talk, I explained to you that all the time this is quite rampant. So you have to make you have to make about three at least, right, to cater the needs of the students. Some of the students are quite slow, so you have to have your materials which is cater to their needs. If you impose the same material to everybody, not all students can achieve your target, right? And when talk about CFR, We have to always remember, we have to analyze their students' ability to do, right? The can do statement, always must remember that, right? Okay, the differentiated instructions guided by general principle of differentiation such as respectful tasks, flexible grouping, ongoing assessment and adjustment. All right, these are the key things that you have to look into, whether the task is suitable for the learners. All right, and flexible grouping. Yeah, grouping is a must. Yeah, because students learn best when they are paired with your friends, in groups. All right, this is one of the key thing when you talk about the formative assessment. All right, formative assessment relates to CFR, of course. Differentiated strategies, formative assessment are linked to one another in CFR curriculum. So you got to know that. Okay, and ongoing assessment. Okay, ongoing assessment, of course, we talk about a formative assessment. All right, formative is ongoing. What are the tools that you have to use to assess the learners? Okay, later I will share some of the tools. All right, there are many, there are various type of assessment that we use. All right, but sometimes I notice the same assessment tools being used for, say, for whole class. That is the problem, right? As I said, we have diverse learners, so the assessment should be also various, right? Okay, ways to differentiate. This is the important thing. Content. When you give them the content, as I told you, maybe if you ask them to do worksheet, all right, so you have to give different type of worksheet for different learners, right? Different slow learners, maybe high achievers, different tasks, different worksheets. All right, the process, you can infuse the differentiated strategies in the process, all right, and the outcome, that is your product. Also, you can integrate that. Yeah, later I will explain to you. Okay, always remember, according to students' needs, their interests, their readiness. Are they ready to begin your class? All right, and their learning profile. Some of the students, when I observe my practicum students, yeah, the students in the classroom, some are very hyperactive. They are very active. They want to do some hands-on activities, but the teachers, they forgot maybe to prepare anything, just worksheet. So worksheet is for this kind of group. Those who are active, the learners who are active, wants to do some hands-on. What are the activities you should prepare? So you should think about all this when you plan your lesson plan. All must be included. All right, so that's where, when you prepare various type of activities to suit your various learners interests, that's where the fun learning comes in. Then your students begins to love English. All right, because they can do it. They will be very confident because they can do it. They can do the activity. All right, some of the students I notice in the classroom, they like songs, musical instruments. Yeah, you can do so. You can bring in some all that things in your classroom. Maybe you can play the guitar, right? So these are the things, various kind of strategies that you can use. Yeah. Okay, what is taught, content, what is taught, process, how is taught, and how learning outcome is, right? These are the key things. Yeah. According to students, readiness, okay, refers to readiness for given skill, concept, or way of thinking. Okay, interest, attitudes, right? Some of the students, that's why I told you just now, may have interest in hands-on, but the teacher did not prepare I mean, so they lose the interest in learning English. So we have to, when we plan the lesson plan, we have to take into considerations of all these points. Yeah. Okay. Learning profile, that's why I told you they have multiple intelligences in the classroom. So you have to identify what is their learning style. If majority 90% of your students are, they like hands-on, then you have to do a lot of group work, right? Pasting, cutting, all that things, sticky notes, a lot actually, right? Okay, confused. Let's break it down. Differentiation can include complex strategies like writing tiered lesson plans, or it can take a more simplistic form, such as using reading buddies or think pair share strategies. All right, it can be. I'm not saying that differentiated strategies must be is complicated. No, as I told you before, we have to modify our strategies to cater for the needs of the students. All right, if the students are high achievers, most of the students they can speak the language, they are active, then you can give them more advanced activities. All right. Okay, tier lessons, flexible grouping, this is higher tic tac talk, multiple intelligence options, graphic organizers. Yeah, this one cater for the high achievers. And then reading, study buddies, anchor, activities, think, pair, share. This one I'm sure you all know. Choices of book, interests, right? So these are the things. Some of the students, if you look at them, they like reading, they like books, all right? They like books. So you have to cater their needs based on all this, yeah? Okay, a closer look. Within the next few slides, you will be introduced to a few differentiated instructional strategies such as tiered lesson exist cards. All these are considered as formative assessment also. All right. Flexible grouping, anchor activities, response cards. All right. Tic tac talk boards, cubing, graphic organizer. These are some of the things that I find it very useful. You can try it, but there are many. Yeah, there are many. If you look at the formative assessment tools, there are many ways, right? You can use to in your classroom as instructional strategies to help your students. All right. Okay, tiered instruction. This is one of the ways. Provides teachers with a means of assigning different tasks within the same lesson. This is what I've been telling. Assigning different tasks according to the students, not the same task for all the students. Then the instructional strategies is not working in your classroom. All right. The tasks will vary according to the students' readiness, interest, and learning profile. This is what I've been highlighting here. Okay, based on their readiness, some of the students are not ready in your classroom. So how are you going to arouse their interest? So that's what set induction comes, yeah, and their interest also. All right, and their learning profile. You have to look at all this before you plan your lesson, right? Okay, what can be tiered? Content, process, and the product, right? Assignments, activities such as assignments, activities, homeworks, centers, experiments, materials, assessment, writing prompts. These are the things that you can do, yeah? Okay, these are the four-step method concept of skills or skill or be able to do. All right. What are the key based on your lesson, right? Then step two, think about students or use assessment to determine readiness levels, interests, learning, and their profile. Okay, you must understand the student first. And then create an activity for on level is learners that interesting, challenging, right? Some of your students are maybe they're high achievers. You can challenge them with your activities. That's why in the same classroom, you cannot have same activities. You must have this, okay, these slow learners, different activities. High level achievers, we have different activities to challenge them. If you give the same activity, same task to everybody, I don't think so the learning takes place effectively. All right? So you've got to understand that. Causes students to use key skill to understand the major idea or concept. Okay. However, if you are differentiating by readiness, you will need to adjust for struggling learners and highly able learners. Yeah, that's what I've been telling. You have to adjust your lesson plan, your teaching strategies according to the learner's ability. All right. Okay, maybe you can give them the flexible grouping. Right, group them in. When I enter the classroom, I would like to see the students are sitting in groups rather than sitting alone or in a whole class. Okay, that's what PAK 21 comes in, where you have to assign the students in group. They learn better in groups. Yeah, all right. Flexible grouping is an opportunity for students to work with a variety of students through whole group or in many different forms of small groups. The to flexible grouping is the name flexible. All right. Students have the opportunity to be different groups depending on the activity. All right. Initially use whole group for instruction, then divide them and then to do their practice or enrichment exercises. Okay, try to change the grouping as well. Don't limit the students with the same group for the next lesson perhaps, because that's where learning takes place. If you set them in the same group, then sometimes some learners they get bored. So you have to be flexible also. Okay, how does flexible grouping benefit students? Give students and teachers a voice in work arrangements, allow students to work with a variety of peers, not limiting them with the same group. Okay. Okay, and then you can pair them with the good ones, the slow ones, you can pair with the good ones. That is also another way of differentiated strategies that you can use in the classroom. Okay, this one I have already told you just now. Group membership, you must the group members must be a variety of members, cannot be the same like such as high achievers in the same group and low achievers in the same. It has to be mixed. Yeah. Anchor activities, this one you can find in the unit. Yeah, these activities are you can see in the workbook and all that. You can ask them to do independently. Those who are good, you can ask them to do. All right, those who need help, you can help them or assign pairs, all that. Right. So these are the things, yeah, that you can do in your classroom. This already all this you can find it in your workbook. Right. Okay, the purpose of these activities: provide meaningful work for students. When they finish an assignment or project, they enter the class. When they first enter the class or when they are stamped, provide ongoing tasks. Right? Some of the students in the class, I noticed some of them they can finish fast. So you, as a teacher, you should prepare something for them for this kind to cater this kind of learners in the classroom. All right. Exist card. This is one tools of formative assessment. All right, you can test. Okay, to gather information on students' readiness level, interest, learning profile. They can be used as quick assessment. Yeah, to see if the students are getting it. Okay, this is very useful formative assessment that you can use as also a type of differentiated strategies also. All right. The teacher hands out index cards to students at the end of the instructional sequence or class period. The teacher asks the students to respond to predetermined prompt on their index cards and then turn them as they leave the classroom or transition to another subject. Okay, you can try this, yeah. exist card grouping. All right, students uh, who are struggling with the concept, you can students with some understanding of, that means you have the group, all these three groups, you separate them accordingly. All right. All right. First, exist card, you can say, explain the difference between the simile and metaphor. Give some example. Okay, maybe this group, you have three types of group. This group, you can ask this question. Those who are weak, you can ask a simple question. This is where the differentiated strategy is. Different group, different type of question, based on their readiness level, based on their learning styles, and all that. All right, this is not clear. I'm so sorry for this. All right. um, these are the things, yeah, that you can use. Exist card is one of the ways. All right. That means what I'm trying to say is, don't use the same question to all the students. All right. These students, maybe they can answer the difference between the simile and the metaphor, and some other students in other group, maybe they can just say a word about this concept, read about this, pronounce this word, one word, where this group, maybe they can read a text because they are already good. So these are the strategies you can implement in the classroom, where you don't expect too much. The outcome also another differentiated learning, where I will explain in the end of the slide. Yeah. Okay. Okay. After reading over my rough draft, right? Revision I can make to improve my draft. Resources I can use to help to improve my draft. One thing I really like about my first draft. So this is the exist card. After maybe you ask them to write something or read something, maybe you can ask them these questions based on the exist card, and then they answer. Okay, according to the student's level. All right. Some students may answer this. The high achievers, maybe they can answer number three. So these are type of the question that you can ask. Yeah. Response card. Another quick assessment also. All right. To increase participation level of all students on task behavior, provide immediate feedback, and they are highly motivated and fun. All right. Okay. These are the things that you can use. Yeah. Types of response card. Right. So these are the things, examples that you can use. Okay, think, tech, talk. This also gives students a choice in how they demonstrate their understanding, okay, of a given topic. All this you can use in the classroom. If you see, some of the things are quite easy. It's meant for the slow learners. That's why I say it must be a combination. All right, questions must be a combination to cater all the needs. All right. But are we really doing that? You have to reflect on your teaching ways, teaching methods. Okay, this one also you can try. Okay. Okay, another one is graphic organizers or mind map. You can ask them to do, right? For this one, maybe to cater for high achievers in the classroom, maybe perhaps you can use also for the low achievers, maybe ask them to highlight the key vocabulary. All right, for high achievers, you can ask them provides an organized visual display of knowledge. All right, depending of your topics that you want to ask them to do. Yeah. Okay, helps integrate prior knowledge with new knowledge. All right, they have to use their thinking skill to organize all the points in the graphic organizers. All right, these are the things. Yeah, I'm sure you all. I mean, you can try this out in your classroom. All right, mind map. This is also another way to help the students. All right. Maybe for reading text, maybe after they have read, so you can ask them to come up with the points in terms of the mind mapping, right? Okay, what else can I do? All right. I'm sure there are many ways. Yeah, use your voice over, videos as a means for students to receive information or as a means for students to demonstrate knowledge. Graphic organizers, Venn diagrams, mind map, and all that. Right? Have students underline or highlight keywords or phrases. Right? This can be done for the slow learners. Yeah. Use tags that are tailored to the students' reading levels. Okay, don't use the same text, right, to all the learners. Sometimes, if the text is too difficult, then the student won't be able to grasp it. All right, so you have to see your learners where they stand, and then you use your checks accordingly. Okay, and also use the Bloom's taxonomy method to ask questions. All right, when the students are they are if they are proficient learners, you can challenge them with a good question. If they are very weak, maybe you can test their understanding and all that. So you've got to know what Bloom's taxonomy is. Yeah. Okay. Provide world walls for students to reference while reading. Okay, you can try this. Encourage different forms of expressing learning, such as drawing, acting. Yeah, this is very good. Some are very kinesthetic, right? The students are very hyper. They want to try this, they want to try that. So you can ask them to draw, to act, to do their poetry presentation and all that. Use flexible grouping, peer tutoring, that means peer work, peer I mean, the friends can help the one another. They help one another, pair work and all that. Learning buddies you can arrange. Okay, use ongoing assessment of students' progress so the intervention can occur quickly. Okay. As I told you, if you look at the traditional, just now I explained to you the traditional and the current curriculum. You have to identify the problem there, and then you have to solve it. If the students are weak, you just find out the ways on how to arrest the problem. Not the end of the semester, then only you arrest. No. Then the formative assessment is not working there. Formative assessment uh, is about where you assess the student, and if you notice the student has got learning problem, you solve the problem then, right? Okay, ask them to write diaries if your students are high achievers, journals, maybe learning logs, all right? Shorten or lengthen assignment while still maintaining the object of the lesson. Yeah, this is also differentiated learning, all right? You can, if the students are weak, they are very weak, you cannot expect them to finish within 2 days or one day, right? You give more time, all right? uh, for this kind of learners. All right. Rewrite problems using less, more complex language. This is very important. When I enter my students who are teaching, who are doing the practicum, I notice that when the students level are low, very low, the teachers cannot be using the high level of instructional language. You have to come down to their level and use the language, the students' language, where they are comfortable, where they can understand. So this is also differentiated strategies. If you look at them, okay, examine your philosophy about individual student needs. You have to identify their needs. Start small, go slowly, but grow. This is for the the low levels. Yeah, envision how an activity will look. Step back and reflect. This is what you should do. Talk with students early and often. Continue with empowering them and continue be analytical. Okay. Okay, in my differentiated classroom, everyone will feel welcome. When you do this kind of differentiated learning, which cater for the learning profile of the students, then everybody feel that they are welcome in the classroom. Nobody is isolated. Okay, when everybody feel welcome and feel safe, then the learning takes place, and then they feel English is not alien language. They still can learn English in fun ways. So this is how you should develop the environment first. Yeah, mutual respect. Students feel physical, mental, emotionally safety. They won't feel threatened, yeah, with English, right? There will be pervasive expectation of growth. I will teach for success. A new sort of fairness will be evident and accepted. Fairness is very important. That means we treat our students fairly. No one is left behind. So this is how you should do. Huh? Collaborate and mutual growth and success. Okay, in summary, strategy one, differentiate by task. Okay, when you give the task, you have to differentiate. Gives different tasks to pupils according to their ability. All right. Get proficient pupils such as this example. Yeah. Get proficient pupils or high achievers to answer in full sentences. Yes, I do is an example. Yeah. You can cater all these to according to your students' needs. No, I don't. For weak people, how are you going to ask them? Maybe they can say yes, no is enough. All right. So these are how you should differentiate by tasks. Eh? Strategy two, number two, that by type and amount of support. Some students in the classroom they need support. Yeah? Offer different type amount of support to pupils according to their ability. Example, teacher provides extra guidance using teacher talk, gestures, visuals, written works. This is where your teaching aids comes in. When you teach the low level learners who are very weak without any teaching aid, it's not going to work. So, as teachers, we have to prepare. Before you enter the class, prepare your teaching materials accordingly to the class level, the student's level. All right, must be various type, not only one particular method for all the students. Then it's not going to work. Okay, differentiate by outcome. This is what I explained earlier. Expect different outcome from pupils according to their ability, right? According to their ability. Example, teacher expect weak pupils to use minimal language, but expect more language from proficient pupils. Minimal language. All right. So how are you going to, if you notice that the students cannot talk in the classroom, they cannot use the language, how? That's where your teaching aids comes in. Right? Be creative by using the teaching aids to help the students. At least they can speak a minimal language. Huh? Okay, don't let them in the lurch, and they feel demotivated to learn the language. Okay, always help them. Okay, time given. This is also another way. Offer longer time for some learners to complete the task. Right? Are we really doing it, or we give same time to everybody? We reflect our teaching. Yeah, teacher allows students to work carefully at their own speed and not feel rushed. Right? Give more time. That's why the CFR, notion of CFR, where we test the students based on the can do statements. All right, fast finishers should be assigned extra tasks but never rewarded. Okay, I mean, rewarding is good, but not every time. It has to be done moderately. Okay, differentiate by the learning preferences and needs. All right, let learners make choice about what they want to do and how they want to do it. Right. Examples, teachers allow students or learners to choose to do their work in pair or in group. All right, up to them. If they feel that they want to do in pairs, let them do. If they want to do in groups, let them do. Right? Teacher allows students to state name of example. A teacher allows students to state name of fruits either by oral answers, written answers, or by drawing. Right? This is where I said the learners, they have multiple intelligences. Some they like to talk, right? Some they like to write. Some they like to draw, visualize. So these are the ways that you can use, yeah, in your classroom. Type of questions. Ask different type. Different questions to different people according to their ability. Example, ask open-ended question to proficient learners. What do you like to eat? What do you think of this situation? What do you think of COVID-19? For the proficient learner, where they can express their thoughts. But what about the weak learners? Maybe you can ask a close-ended question. Do you like to eat carrots? Yes. Then it's okay. That means you achieve your goal. Okay, don't set the same uh, outcome for everybody. It's not going to work. Okay. Feedback. All right. Give different feedback to people according to their ability. Example, suggest improvement that can be easily achieved by weak learners, and give feedback that provides challenges to proficient learners. So you have to give feedback. Feedback is also part of the formative assessment. All right. Formative assessment is part of the CEFR curriculum. All right. So feedback is very important in the classroom. All right, then you have to give positive feedback, not negative feedback, positive feedback. All right, if you have negative feedback, don't do it in front of the class. Maybe you can ask the students to come to you, and then you give the feedback that you want to ask him to correct his mistakes or whatever. So these are the ways, these are the strategies that you can use to fulfill your learners' needs in the classroom. Learners are we have diverse learners in the classroom, and how do you address all the needs? All these needs, you have to do differentiated strategy. There is no other way. You go back to the basic first. You address all these, then you integrate your ICT, your other method, whatever, gamification, games, what, so many things, right? So what I'm trying to say, address the basic first in the classroom. Understand your learners, how to address their needs based on the learning preferences. Then the learners can learn. They don't feel threatened of learning English by learning English. Yeah. Okay. We are for difference, for respecting difference, for valuing difference. Everybody is different, right? Everybody is different. So we teachers have the big role to play uh, in the classroom actually, until the difference no longer makes a difference. Okay. Okay, these are the website that you can go through uh, to get more ideas on these differentiated strategies. Okay, and what I have shared with you is just tips of the iceberg. Yeah, there are a lot of ways. Okay, when you talk about formative assessment, when you assess the students, you have to really use the differentiated strategies. The strategies are many. You can adopt them, all the strategies, and try to apply it in your classroom. All right, that's the end of my session for today. Is there any question that you would like to ask before I end my slot for today? Is there any question? Actually, projects and language games help a lot in my lesson in order to make them understand. Yeah, you can do that, but as I said just now, the projects and the games must be differentiated, right? Different group has different game perhaps, or maybe the weak learners have more easier tasks. This is differentiate by tasks. All right, that's good. Sweta, that's very good. Okay, one element I increase is peer learning. Put the students in smaller group. Yeah, that's also yes. Peer learning, yeah, it works. Peer learning, yes. All right. Anything else, teachers, you would like to share or you like to ask me before I end my session today? Okay. With that, I thank for thank everyone for joining my session. Um, I'll see you in some other time in some other slots. Thank you very much for joining today. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.